And now to talk more about the polluted Ganges, we're joined by our correspondent Shweta Bajaj live from Mumbai. She visited Varanasi earlier. Welcome to Asia Today, Shweta. So initiatives have been taken to build up the defense of the sacred waterway. What exactly has been done? Are things getting better there?
Well, it all started when Narendra Modi decided to fight elections from Varanasi, promising to clean the Ganges. After he came to power, he set up a different ministry to clean up the Ganges. The minister itself decided to have a massive corpus, like you mentioned, amounting to $3 billion, making it sure that eventually there has to be cleanup. Now, if you look at the kind of expectations that are from the current government, of course, there are still 3 more years to go of Narendra Modi's tenure, but people in Varanasi are a disappointed lot that after 2 years, not much has been done. In fact, the figures show that at this point in time, Ganges is in a way worse off state than what it was about 2 years from now. Now, these independent surveys have been done by various non-governmental organizations and also people and locals who live along the banks of the Ganges and have been working to make sure that the Ganges somehow can retain some part of its its flavor. Now, if you look at the Ganges itself, at this point in time, it's a Grade B river, which means it's fit to bathe in, but it's not, the water is not fit to drink. If you look at the levels, it's actually not even fit to bathe in. In fact, levels show that even aquatic life cannot survive in it. We travel to Varanasi. Let's see more about how Ganges is doing at this point in time.
It's early morning and thousands of people are starting their day with a dip in the holy Ganges. For people living on the banks of this river, it's a daily ritual. But unfortunately, one of the world's most worshipped rivers is also the most polluted. Ganges came into attention in 2014 when Narendra Modi decided to run for elections from Varanasi. Calling Ganges his mother, he stoked emotions of the locals, promising to clean it. But 2 years later, the holy river is in a worse off state.
The Ganges is a lifeline for millions in India, and it's of massive religious importance to Hindus. Situated alongside the banks of the river are some of the oldest cities of the world, including this one, Varanasi. But despite its importance and relevance, the river is heavily polluted.
If you say that Ganga will be polluted, so there are some 50-60,000 people in Banaras who take regular bath in Ganga. They use Ganga water. So they are connected to that, and if the river dies, they will also be finished.
The Ganges in Varanasi is a Grade B river, which means it's fit to bathe in. These samples, though, tell a different story. The smell and sight is unbearable. The oxygen levels are non-existent in the water, which means aquatic life cannot survive in it.
Companies have prepared reports and forces will check why the Ganges is polluted, and sewerage will be charged with first security and then action.
The biggest problem, though, is releasing sewage into the Ganges. Many sewage plants have been commissioned, but most are not working, and the few that are doing so well below their capacity.
Zero discharge of sewage should be maintained into the river, and you do whatever you want. You treat it to a level it becomes innocuous for reuse, or you don't treat it, you carry away to your own home, but don't provide it into the river. Gangaji should not be used as a safe passage for your sewerage system.
Millions have already been spent with no impact. The attention is on Indian Prime Minister to keep his promise and give the Ganges a new life.
And the latest well is that the National Mission for Clean Ganga has actually has sent a global invitation out to scientists and environmentalists to come up with a plan to clean the sewage pipes that are alongside the Ganges. Now, they have asked them to come up with this plan and give a tender by 5th of July, and the decision would be taken by end of July. But, you know, local bodies saying that the coordination needs to be done in local levels. So these towns alongside which Ganges are situated. So you have Patna, you have Varanasi, you have other towns which are of holy significance like Haridwar, they have been saying that locals need to be involved and not environmentalists and scientists from outside of the country.
And Shweta, of course, the spiritual significance of the Ganges is undisputed, but religious rituals and cultural practices are believed to be a major cause of pollution. Is that true? What are the other contributing factors?
So if you look at the Ganges itself, whenever there's a concentration of a town, so if you see a town like Varanasi, which has a large concentrated population, or a town like Haridwar, which is another holy town with a large concentration of population, along with a floating population of religious and spiritual tourists who come there, there is an increased amount of pollution in that level. Environmentalists, especially here in India, have been saying that Ganges have a way to clean itself up. So the way the moment it flows downstream and gets away from these towns, it actually becomes much better. In fact, the quality of water is not just fit to bathe in, but also fit to drink. But in these towns itself, there's a massive issue. Religious and other you see a lot of functions happening on the banks of the Ganges, and the fact there's very limited civic sense and people throw things into the Ganges. That of course leads to population, but 80% of the problem still lies in the sewerage. There are about 30 to 33 odd pipes in Varanasi itself that actually gives in a large number of sewerage into the river. If you see at those points, that's where the Ganges really get dirty, and that's the problem remains the same across various towns alongside these towns which are situated alongside the banks of Ganges. So the problem really remains of sewerage. Now there has to be a solution to that. There have been many sewerage plants that have been set up. Many of them are actually not functioning to their full capacity. Many of them that have been commissioned haven't really taken off as expected, and of course Ganges doesn't have the time to actually wait for these plants to be commissioned. That's the reason that you see Indian government even talking and taking out this new tender in which it's asking scientists and environmentalists to come forward and give up their plans. But really at this point in time, there needs to be a political will. More than that, what needs to be done is on a local level coordination to make sure that these plans are actually executed. So 80% of the problem in the Ganges actually is not because of religious and other functions that happen alongside the banks of the Ganges, but actually letting go of sewerage into the Ganges is the one major problem.
And certainly it'll require all the political will and wisdom to solve the problem. Thanks very much, Shweta, for bringing us that from Mumbai.